How a narcissistic woman changes after losing someone who truly loved her. At first, she doesn't even realize what she's lost. Narcissistic women often live in a world where everything revolves around their validation, how others see them, how much attention they receive, how desired they are. So when someone truly loves them, genuinely, selflessly, with patience and loyalty, they take it for granted. They believe that love is endless, that no matter how cruel or dismissive they act, it will always be there, waiting for them. When that person finally walks away, she doesn't feel sadness first. She feels insulted. How dare he leave? How dare someone who once adored her have the nerve to move on? That's the first stage. Outrage disguised as indifference. She tells herself he was weak, too emotional, too dramatic. She says things like, "He couldn't handle me," or "He was obsessed, not in love." It's all armor, because beneath that something cracks. For the first time, she feels an unfamiliar silence. No one praising her, no one chasing her, no one reflecting back the image of the perfect woman she built in her mind. That silence becomes unbearable. Narcissists thrive on mirrors, people who reflect their importance. And when that mirror disappears, it's like watching her own identity fade. That's when confusion sets in. She starts stalking his social media, replaying old texts, reading into things she used to ignore. She won't admit it, but she's wondering, was I the problem? Still, she can't face that truth yet. So she does what narcissists do best. She seeks supply. She finds distractions, new people, attention online, maybe even rebounds that flatter her ego. For a while, it works. She posts pictures meant to look like she's thriving. She laughs louder, dresses better, and acts like she's unbothered. But when the new attention fades, when no one seems to care the way he did, a strange emptiness begins to spread. Because deep down, she knows this new attention is hollow. Those people don't see her soul, they just see her surface. And suddenly the man who once loved her, with patience, depth, and understanding, starts to seem like the only person who ever really saw beyond her mask. That realization hits her late at night. It's not loud, it's quiet. The kind of silence that hums in your chest. She remembers how he used to listen when she talked about her dreams, how he understood her moods before she could explain them, how he believed in the real her, the one she buried under pride and fear. And now she starts to feel something she thought she was incapable of. Regret. Not just because she lost someone, but because she realizes she destroyed the very thing she secretly wanted. Unconditional love. This is the turning point. Some narcissistic women double down. They can't face guilt, so they rewrite history. They convince themselves he was never that special that she could find better. But a very few, begin to unravel. They start to see patterns. How they push away everyone who gets close. How they crave control more than connection. How love makes them feel vulnerable. And vulnerability terrifies them. She begins to replay the last moments of the relationship. The arguments, the manipulation, the dismissive tone she used when he begged to be understood. It all replays in her mind like a movie she can't pause. And this time, she doesn't feel powerful. She feels small. There's a kind of mourning that happens here. Not for the relationship itself, but for the version of herself she could have become if she had learned how to love properly. She realizes he didn't leave to punish her. He left to save himself. And now she's left to face the wreckage of her own reflection. The irony is, narcissistic women often spend their lives chasing admiration, yet they push away the one person who gave them something far deeper: understanding. And when that understanding is gone, she feels something she's never felt before: irrelevance. The spotlight she lived under goes dark. At this stage, she might try to come back. She'll reach out, subtly at first. A text, a memory, just checking on you. But her tone is different now. The pride has cracks. The mask doesn't fit as well. She might even apologize. Not fully, not perfectly, but enough to test if he'll return. Because what she's really craving isn't love, it's redemption. She wants to prove she's still worth being loved, but often by the time she realizes this, it's too late. The person she lost has already healed. He's already seen the pattern, learned the lesson, and closed that door. That rejection cuts deeper than anything she's ever felt. For a narcissistic woman, nothing wounds her ego more than being forgotten by someone who once adored her. She thought she'd always have power over his emotions, that she could walk away and he'd always be there. But when she sees that he's happy without her, something inside her collapses. That's when the final transformation begins. Because for the first time, she has to sit with herself. Not the image she shows the world, but the lonely, insecure, frightened part of her she's spent years running from. In that solitude, a mirror appears. Not the kind that flatters, but the kind that reflects truth. She starts to see the patterns. How she used love like a weapon. How she tested people's loyalty instead of appreciating it. How she confused control with security. It's painful. It's humiliating. But in rare cases, it's also awakening. Because losing someone who truly loved her becomes the one thing powerful enough to pierce her armor. She realizes that love isn't a tool. It's a mirror. And she's been breaking everyone that tried to show her who she really was. Now, if she grows from it, that depends. Some narcissistic women never change. They simply hide their pain behind new facades. But others, the ones who finally face the emptiness head-on, begin to change in subtle but profound ways. She becomes quieter, less performative, more observant. She starts noticing how she talks to people, how she treats them. She might still crave validation, but now she knows it's never enough. For the first time, she's not chasing attention. She's chasing peace. And maybe, just maybe, she understands that love is not something to be won. It's something to be cherished. In the end, the loss of someone who truly loved her becomes her greatest teacher. Because narcissism is built on illusion. The illusion of power, beauty, and control. But love? Love is reality. It strips away the masks and demands vulnerability. And when she finally loses the one person who saw her truth and stayed, she learns the hardest lesson of all. Attention isn't love, and love isn't guaranteed. It must be nurtured, protected, and reciprocated. By the time she realizes that, the person who taught her that truth is gone. But the echo of that loss lingers forever. A quiet reminder of what she'll never find again in anyone else. And that's the thing about narcissistic love.